tonight on CTV News at 6. Police crack down on child sex abuse and exploitation. Several Northerners are among the 63 suspects charged by the OPP. And another push for the four-laning of Highway 69.
People are tired of the excuses. They want to see shovels in the ground. They want to know what's happening.
A new campaign calls on the province to get the job done. Plus, could a festival centered around hate be headed to North Bay?
CTV News at 6 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Ontario Provincial Police, in conjunction with 25 other police services, have released results of what's being called Project Time. It's a province-wide initiative aimed at child sex abuse and exploitation, and 63 people have been charged. CTV's Alana Everson breaks down the numbers.
In a statement, the strategy lead for the OPP says Project Time is a testament to the dedication and commitment of law enforcement across Ontario and Canada to protect children from exploitation. It goes on to say, the results of this operation demonstrate the power of collaboration, the strength of the provincial internet child exploitation strategy, and the relentless pursuit of those who prey on the most vulnerable. Project Time results include 51 victims identified, 63 individuals arrested, 213 charges laid, 814 electronic devices seized, 154 ongoing investigations. 2 accused were in a position of trust and authority in their communities. 8 accused were repeat offenders. In the north, 1 man was arrested in North Bay, 1 man in the Sioux, 2 men in Sudbury, 1 adult male from Thunder Bay, and 2 15-year-old males from that city are the youngest people to face charges. Across the province, the oldest individual arrested was a 79-year-old man from Kingston. The OPP say Project Time investigators targeted individuals making, possessing, and distributing child sexual abuse material. Victims who were identified were safeguarded and appropriate support provided. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Meanwhile, a man from Espanola has been arrested for child luring by Wikwemikong Tribal Police. Police say they rescued a 16-year-old victim during a traffic stop around 1:30 in the morning after she'd been reported missing. With the help of the OPP, the 21-year-old suspect's home was searched. The man faces several charges, including possession of child abuse and exploitation material and luring. A human rights organization is warning people in North Bay about a gathering being marketed on social media as Bigotfest. CTV's Madison Merrier spoke with activists who say this type of gathering is not welcome.
Human rights group B'nai B'rith Canada is warning North Bay residents of a possible hate group gathering coming to town this weekend. The event is advertised online as a family-friendly festival called Bigotfest. B'nai B'rith Canada says the group behind the event is known to have white supremacist ideology.
There are individuals who are known right across Canada for peddling in hate, sowing division, and inciting racist and harmful narratives, and we don't believe that there's a place for that in any Canadian city.
Mayor Peter Chirico also shares his concerns, saying in a statement, any activity intended to promote racism, hate, or discrimination has no place in North Bay. Our community values respect, inclusion, and the right of everyone to feel safe and welcome. He continues saying if the event is happening, it will not be on municipality-owned property.
We don't want Canadians to get the wrong impression. We don't want the international community to get the wrong impression. This is not Canada. This is its dark underbelly.
Police are also aware of the online promise of a planned event, saying in part the role of police is to facilitate safe and lawful gatherings regardless of viewpoint while maintaining public order and protecting the community. They continue saying community members are encouraged to remain aware of their surroundings, avoid engaging, and report any concerning suspicious or criminal behavior to the police.
These groups have been quite open and transparent. They're marketing this. This is part of the monetization of hate. This is part of a hate industry. Get a bunch of vendors that sell problematic content together, get a bunch of people who share a problematic ideology together, and have a quote-unquote festival.
Robertson says he is very concerned with the boldness of the possible event and public marketing. CTV News did reach out to the organizers of the event, who confirmed their intentions of hosting Bigotfest. They did not disclose a location. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
The calls continue to finish four-laning Highway 69 south of Sudbury. Now there's a new campaign launched by a couple of Northern Ontario MPPs that aims to speed up the provincial government's plans. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
No family should ever have to endure the unimaginable grief and heartbreak that my family has had to live with every day since June 5th.
Sharing her family's personal story is important for Erin Lafont. Her nephew died last month in a head-on collision on Highway 69 near Henvey Inlet First Nation.
To prevent anybody else from having to live the same experiences that myself and my family has had to go through since losing Cody. Anything we can do, I think, is very important, just to honor his memory, because he was such a great person.
It's personal stories like this Sudbury MPP Jamie West and Nickel Belt MPP France Helena want the provincial government to hear. They've launched a new campaign called 4 Lanes, 0 Excuses, demanding the provincial government finish 4-laning Highway 69.
People are tired of the excuses. They want to see shovels in the ground. They want to know what's happening. As we heard today, there's people with loved ones, they're losing loved ones. People are afraid to drive on the road.
The campaign includes a petition to immediately fund and tender the remaining 68 kilometers of road that needs to be 4-laned.
The hope is to get the 4 lanes done so that we save lives, we make it safer for people to travel.
West and Helena are also inviting people to share personal stories of how Highway 69 has impacted their lives, whether that's a loss, a close call, or specific concerns. Some of those will be shared at Queen's Park.
When you hear a story from a real person who share what has happened, it has a lot of power to move politicians to do things.
The campaign also includes lawn signs, car decals, and billboards like this one. West and Helena say it's a way to show community support and keep the pressure on. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
And CTV News requested an interview with the Ministry of Transportation. The ministry sent a written statement this evening, instead expressing their condolences to families who have lost loved ones on the road work. The statement reads, in part, the remaining 68 kilometers are moving through engineering approvals and consultation right now as we continue to work through the complexities of this upgrade and remain actively engaged with local First Nations and others to finish the work. Time now for our first check on weather, and I have to say it, this morning felt kind of like fall out there. It was pretty crisp, so let's bring in CTV's Amanda Hicks, filling in for Tony Rima, to tell us if we're going to get back to summer anytime soon.
Summer is set to make a comeback, Marina, not to worry. Although it will be a little bit short-lived. We did see comfortable conditions out there today. It was kind of refreshing, actually, after the heat that we saw just recently, but it is going to be short-lived. It's going to be feeling like 30 degrees with the humidex for tomorrow. By the time the weekend rolls around, then the temperatures are going to shift a little bit, inching closer to the normal for this time of year, but we won't be seeing that sweltering heat. And also, too, we have a chance of showers as well. I'll break down which areas we'll be seeing what coming up a bit later on. Marina.
All right, thank you, Amanda. The township of Billings on Manitoulin Island has announced Bridalveil Falls is officially reopened. Flooding from snowmelt this spring did major damage to the area and closed the local attraction for safety reasons. While Bridalveil Falls has reopened, the Kagawong River Trail remains closed. The township is welcoming visitors back, but reminding them to obey posted signage in the area for their own safety. And still to come here on CTV News at 6, bringing important testing to the north. A vital heart test for children is returning to the hospital in Timmins. Plus, why Prop Air has suspended service between North Bay and Toronto.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Prop Air has confirmed it will be suspending service from the Jack Garland Airport in North Bay to Toronto. This comes less than a year after the Quebec-based carrier started offering services. In a statement to CTV, the airline said the response from the public did not meet expectations, and it will be temporarily suspending flights starting August 1st. Jack Garland Airport manager Brian Avery saying in a statement today, travel trends tend to dip in the summer and pick back up in the fall and winter when road conditions aren't favorable. He acknowledged this is a challenging one for any airline to schedule frequent service, and especially so for an airline that's just started the route and is faced with other industry pressures. While Prop Air says the suspension is temporary, there's no timeline for flights to return. The airline and airport have agreed to keep talks open with hopes of providing the service again in the future. Canada's premiers met with the Prime Minister in Charlottetown today as part of their summer meetings. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, Trump's tariffs were the key topic of the day.
Under pressure to plot Canada's path through the latest escalation of the trade war with the United States, Prime Minister Mark Carney met with premiers today to strategize.
Canadian governments around this table will do whatever it takes to defend and support our families, our workers, and our businesses.
Provincial and territorial leaders went into the meeting wanting the Canadian government to articulate how they intend to get the Americans to the table.
With a strong plan, Team Canada, led by the Prime Minister.
And what happens if he doesn't have a strong plan today?
Well, I don't expect him to have T's crossed and I's dotted, but it's a Team Canada approach led by the Prime Minister.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Janice Charette joined today's talks. And hours later, First Ministers emerged united and with new resolve.
We're ready. We're ready because we have been focusing on what we can control. And that's building our strength at home.
As the clock ticks towards U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariffs coming into effect, Carney said he sees the current deadline as both a potential endgame, but also just another pressure tactic.
Everything's on the table if there's no agreement, depending on the outcome of the negotiations.
And premiers, while initially differing on retaliation, agreed the best outcome would be to get a comprehensive deal that provides relief for the full range of tariff-affected sectors.
97% of our goods cross the border without tariffs, but we'd like it to be 100%. And we'd like it to be the same way for the rest of the country as well.
The Prime Minister was also pressed to keep provinces in the loop as negotiations intensify.
Canada's at its best when provinces and territories and the federal government work together.
Carney and the premiers also agreed to keep up efforts to strengthen the domestic economy, to reduce Canada's reliance on the United States long term, from breaking down even more interprovincial trade barriers to building more major energy projects. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Patients visiting Timmins and District Hospital's emergency department can expect longer wait times through the weekend due to reduced physician availability. The emergency department remains open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and patients with urgent or life-threatening conditions will continue to be seen first. Hospital officials say the shortage is the result of recent physician retirements, reduced hours by some doctors, and others who are currently unavailable for medical reasons. People with non-urgent health concerns are being asked to contact their family doctor, nurse practitioner, or a walk-in clinic when possible.
This duration is only for a few days, but we anticipate going forward that this will continue to happen in the months ahead. It's unfortunate, but managing the community's expectations, the patient's expectations are very important. In the emergency department, you're seen based on your level of acuity. Those who are the sickest are seen first.
The hospital says its physicians are working extra hours to help minimize the impact on patients. Updates on emergency department physician coverage will be posted on the hospital's website and Facebook page. Meanwhile, families in the Timmins area no longer have to travel out of the region for many specialized heart ultrasounds for kids. CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us about an important test being reintroduced at Timmins and District Hospital.
Health experts say a pediatric echocardiogram is a specialized ultrasound of the heart used to assess children from newborns to age 17. For years, many families in the region had to travel to Sudbury, Ottawa, or Toronto for the test. The service returned to Timmins in June after the hospital purchased specialized equipment and established a process for pediatric cardiologists to review the results. Cardiac sonographer Danielle Jelena says having the service available locally can make a difference for families during stressful situations.
Precisely, instead of being shipped out to CHEO directly, we can actually have a look and say, deal with the baby a little bit more here, find the problems, or help better support the baby. Whereas I've had a family from Kapuskasing saying they came by and they said, thank you, I'm really happy I didn't have to travel more or further for this.
The hospital says routine pediatric echocardiograms are now booked weekly, while urgent cases are typically completed within 24 hours of being ordered. We're told the test can help identify issues including heart murmurs, congenital heart conditions, and other cardiac concerns.
So during an echocardiogram, we look at the heart valves, we look at the heart function, we make sure everything is up to size, so all of the heart chambers, everything's working properly. Specifically for the smaller population, we look at, see if there's any holes in their hearts.
The service is available by referral through the emergency department or a family physician. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The town of Englehart is under a boil water advisory. That's according to Northeastern Public Health, which is advising residents to bring water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute before using or to use bottled water. Updates are available on the health unit's website. Back we go to Amanda now for a check on the current conditions this Thursday evening. Amanda, is it still sweater weather out there right now?
I can confidently say no, it's not, Marina, which is pretty good. Although this morning, though, it was certainly sweater weather. Temperatures were hovering around the 10 to 12 degree mark, and then temperatures rose up to 23 to 25 degrees throughout the region. So it became quite comfortable, really nice out there, some sunny skies, some clouds as well. But as we get closer to the weekend, we're going to see that humidity, but it's going to be short-lived. But before we get there, let's take a look at the current conditions. And we'll start with Moosonee. We're seeing some mix of sun and cloud at 20 degrees, some rain in Cochrane and Timmins between 19 to 24 degrees. Mix of sun and cloud in Wawa, Chapleau, and Sault Ste. Marie. More clouds in Sault Ste. Marie between 16 to 24 degrees. Sunny skies in Parry Sound, looks beautiful, 21 degrees. And then 23 to 25 degrees. More clouds in Temiskaming Shores, more sun otherwise. And then sunny skies across the board. 21 degrees in Espanola and 23 in Sudbury. Marina.
Okay, thank you for the update, Amanda. Next on CTV News at 6, one of the most significant drug seizures in Ontario nets nearly 1.7 tons of illegal drugs. And we take a look at a new addiction treatment facility on the shores of Lake Huron. A joint investigation by police in southern Ontario has put a dent in a massive cross-border drug trafficking operation. 1.7 tons of illegal drugs were seized along with military-grade guns. More from CTV's Judy Trin.
A small mountain of illegal drugs weighing 1.7 tons, most of it cocaine and methamphetamine, seized during an investigation nicknamed Project Bay, which began in Windsor 18 months earlier.
The drugs in this room are not ending up in the hands of our community's vulnerable population. The firearms in this room are not sowing chaos in our communities.
Displayed in front of the hundreds of packages, the jarring visual of a weapon of war, an anti-tank gun, among the recovered firearms. Investigators say transnational crime groups are involved.
Investigators identified a network coordinating the movement and distribution of large quantities of drugs through otherwise legitimate supply chains. This included coordinating shipments and arranging drivers to knowingly transport concealed drugs within commercial loads.
Police say brokers were used to smuggle drugs in transport trucks and that illegal drugs worth $139 million have been taken off the streets, most of it intercepted at the border in May and June.
Border Services officers intercepted over 1.1 tons of drugs that criminal groups were attempting to smuggle across the border. We shared vital intelligence and surveillance information with our partners.
10 law enforcement agencies worked together on Project Bay, from Ontario Provincial Police to local police in Windsor and the Toronto area, along with the RCMP, U.S. Homeland Security, and the Drug Enforcement Agency. Investigators say the shipments originated in the southwestern United States and are likely connected to Mexican cartels.
Logically, Mexico is a well-known transshipment point with drug cartels.
Police have arrested 19 people in connection with Project Bay. 2 other suspects are on the run. Investigators emphasize that they have not dismantled a drug network, but have put a dent in the supply. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now the latest on a controversial deal on nuclear power. U.S. President Donald Trump has attached some strings to a U.S. civil nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. Trump said today the deal is subject to Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, which would mean recognizing the State of Israel. The kingdom has said in the past it would not do so without the establishment of a Palestinian state. The U.S. government has described the deal as a peaceful nuclear cooperation agreement that would give American companies better access to Saudi Arabia's nuclear energy program. The conflict in the Middle East is escalating as Iran-backed Houthi rebels attacked 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. This satellite image from NASA appears to show one of the tankers on fire in the Red Sea. The attack comes after the Houthis announced a naval blockade of Saudi ships earlier this week. The attack in the Red Sea threatens to open a new front in a war that's already rocked the global economy, with the Strait of Hormuz essentially closed. We're learning more about the trail derailment near Calgary last week. Audio recordings show a trespasser was spotted on the train before it went off the tracks.
There was a guy attached to the side of the train as he was going by. He wasn't one of the workers, and he looked like he was in a panic mode.
Sir, you said there was somebody attached to the train, of the big train that went by?
Around 7:15 on July 13th, transit operators notified dispatch about the trespasser. The man was spotted on the train twice before 13 cars went off the tracks at 7:40 that morning. Neither the rail company, CPKC, nor the Transportation Safety Board have confirmed if the man was on the train or if he was connected to the derailment. No environmental damage was done to the wetland. The cars have been removed from the waterway. And there's more news ahead, but first let's get to your full weather forecast with Amanda Hicks as we inch closer to the weekend, which could be a wet one. Is that right, Amanda?
It's quite possibly true, Marina. Some more, some less, depending on where you are in the broadcast region. And by the time the weekend wraps up, we've got a cold front moving in, which will send temperatures down to about the seasonal mark for this time of year. But before we get to all that, Friday, though, looks like a pretty hot day across the region. Let's take a look, though. For the most part, we've got pretty dry conditions, a pretty nice Friday afternoon. Temperatures feeling like 30 degrees with the humidex, some sunshine across the board as well. But then by the time Saturday rolls in, that's when things change a little bit, depending on where you are. Seeing some precipitation across the board here, continuing into Saturday evening, and then yeah, we've got a little bit of a temperature change on the way. Overnight, though, we've got some partly cloudy skies in Sudbury, chance of showers, risk of thunderstorms in Timmins, 15 degrees and 15 degrees in Temiskaming Shores as well. Might I say, though, quite the difference, though, than where we were 24 hours ago. We saw some single-digit temperatures into the overnight hours, so we are getting a little bit warmer out there. In Moosonee, chance of showers, 14 degrees, only 13 in Wawa with chance of showers, risk of thunderstorms, and then 16 in Gore Bay. That's the warm spot in those regions there. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, starting with Sudbury and Nickel Belt. 26 for tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, feeling like 30 with the humidex, chance of showers throughout the weekend, possibly a few sunny breaks on Sunday, high of 25, which is the normal for this time of year. Temperatures dipping down to 21 by Monday, excuse me, but still quite comfortable. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, beautiful sunny day for tomorrow to start the weekend. High of 27, feeling like 30 with the humidex. Chance of showers throughout the weekend. Mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday, getting up to 23 degrees. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers for tomorrow. High of 26, but it will feel warmer than that with the humidex. Showers rolling through the region on Saturday. High of 22, chance of showers on Sunday. Clouds on Monday, 22 degrees. And we're going to hold on to that temperature until about Thursday for when we get back up to normal for this time of year. And for Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 26, 24 degrees. On Saturday, stronger chance of showers. Temperatures knocking down to 22 degrees for Sunday, and a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday. And finally, for North Bay, West Nipissing, mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow, high of 26, chance of showers throughout the weekend, and then we get up to 24 degrees on Tuesday with a mix of sun and cloud. And for today's weather pick of the day, look at this cutie here. Lisa and John sent this in near Englehart on Wendigo Lake, and that is their dog Amiga with a beautiful rainbow behind her. Thank you so much for sending that in. Coming up after the break, a new addiction treatment center has opened in the Sioux. Corey Nordstrom has more.
Those visiting an agricultural trade show this week in Saskatchewan will learn about an effort to keep family farms in the family. One company is also calling on the federal government to expand tax rules that it says could make it easier to pass farms down to the next generation. CTV's Carla Shinkaruk has more.
For this farm family, succession planning isn't just about the future. It's about making sure the family farm can survive.
There's a need to start to change these policies.
This is Nathan Kuhn, who farms near Reward, Saskatchewan in the West Central region. He says the tax burden facing successors can make it harder for the next generation to take over.
We want a farm that will continue on through the generations, and if I can hand that farm to my brother's children, it's more empowerment to the family farm.
FarmStrong, a company that helps farm families with succession planning, is urging Ottawa to expand the capital gains exemption beyond children, so it also applies when farms are transferred to nieces and nephews. Darren Shrewsbury says the change would help keep more farms in the hands of families instead of being sold to larger operations.
So there is a lot of people that do not qualify for the tax-free rollover under the CRA rules. Adding nieces and nephews will definitely increase the amount of farmers that have the ability to keep those farms in their families.
The president of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities agrees the issue should be a priority, stressing that family farms remain the backbone of rural communities.
Some families that say, well, you know what, if the tax is going to be this high or it's going to cost this much to transfer my land or my property to a family member, maybe I can sell it to a corporate investor.
In a statement to CTV News, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture says it will not comment on hypothetical policy proposals, but says pre-budget consultations are underway, and we want to hear from stakeholders in industry as we work to advance a growth and competitiveness agenda while providing support for Canadian sectors during this period of global uncertainty. We encourage everyone to share their ideas. Those we spoke to are hopeful this conversation will continue well beyond this show. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
OPP in North Bay say they've noticed an increase in wheel-off incidents with camper trailers and are offering some advice to those hitting the road this summer.
Wheel-off incidences can happen because of worn tires, loose wheel nuts.
Police say a few simple checks can prevent the wheel from coming loose or falling off. They recommend checking your tire for damage, make sure the air pressure in the wheels is where it should be, and ensure all of your wheel nuts are on and secure. They also recommend doing a full walk around or circle check of your trailer to make sure there are no other mechanical issues and avoid overloading your trailer. A freshly built addiction treatment facility is just about ready to offer help on the shores of Lake Huron. CTV's Corey Nordstrom gives us a first-hand look at the 16-bed facility that's just days away from offering culturally based healing to a cohort of Indigenous men and women.
With that, the Ben-Bewapka Treatment Center is ready to serve the North Shore. The 16-bed facility will allow for culturally based programming in a facility designed by and for Indigenous people, with a 42-day program for both men and women seeking help.
The opioid addiction in general is at all-time highs. And so any facility is a welcome facility in this whole healing and recovery that we want to see happening in our communities and our people.
This will give people that show up here to recover the confidence in the people that they are dealing with, and they will be connected back to the land, to the water, and they will feel it, and that makes their recovery happen faster and quicker.
Sheehan's government invested $23.5 million in the facility. At the time of the site's groundbreaking, the project was expected to cost just $14 million.
We went to RFP, and it was on and around the time when we were dealing with the pandemic. And so all of the costs associated with construction skyrocketed. So we went from a $14 million to a $20 million project almost overnight.
The home that Ben-Bewapka occupied for parts of 4 decades isn't far away, and with the old site being converted to the North Shore Heart Hub, it's set to add to the continuum of care on the property.
The Heart Hub is going to give us our pre-treatment, post-treatment beds. We have 11 of them. So when people do apply to come into the program and it's halfway through a cycle, we have space for them to stay safe.
The first cohort at the new center will begin their healing journey a week from today. Officials with Mamwesing said the site is also built with the ability to eventually offer treatment for youth and families. Significant training would first need to take place, and they estimate that it's at least 2 years down the road. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Blind River.
Provincial police are commending bystanders who saved the life of a person drowning last month in Little Current. According to police, a person was pulled from the water at Low Island Park with no vital signs. The Good Samaritans brought the person to shore and immediately started CPR. Police expressed their gratitude today for life-saving efforts of those on the beach. You can read more about this story by going to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. Well, people love dogs as pets as they show unconditional love and offer companionship, which can be especially beneficial for veterans. And a partnership between the Legion and the Wounded Warriors program has been making it easier for vets to have their best friend. CTV's Mike Lang reports.
Veterans and service dogs, those who fought for our country, and man's best friend. Turns out they can be a perfect but also interdependent match. Chandler is an 8-year-old golden Newf who works as a service dog for retired Sergeant Dave Sampson.
I don't think I'd be able to live without him. He means a lot. Definitely means a lot.
Sampson served for many years, most notably in the Airborne Regiment, and is now a Veterans Service Officer for Simcoe County. Chandler was paired with Sampson 7 years ago at the height of his struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder and substance abuse.
All other things didn't work. I didn't want to go into other medications that the doctor was prescribing, so I felt that the service dog was the last step that I could probably take.
Chandler completed his service dog training in Missouri, where he was born and raised. He helps Sampson in crowded environments and can settle him down during PTSD nightmares.
He's changed it. He's allowed me to laugh, meet people, enjoy life.
Pairing with Chandler was at no cost for Sampson thanks to the Royal Canadian Legion's partnership with Wounded Warriors, which estimates a price tag of $35,000 to buy and train each service dog, but the Legion covers those expenses up until the match is made.
They entrust us to ensure that the dogs are trained to the proper standards,
that they're placed with veterans and that they're effective.
Wounded Warriors recently paired its 100th Ontario service dog since 2018 and will soon be making an official announcement in BC for its 500th service dog nationwide.
This represents an investment of Canadians who care of $15 million over that time since we began.
These dogs have saved veterans' lives. They have saved veterans' lives.
And that was CTV's Mike Lang reporting. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. As many Canadians look to shop local, an Ontario fly fishing business owner is being recognized for his product in a popular magazine. Details ahead.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
The Fields Medal is known as the Nobel Prize of Mathematics, only awarded every 4 years, and today it was awarded to a University of Toronto professor. CTV's Janice Golding tells us about the winner.
So we award Jacob Zimmerman with the Fields Medal.
A Canadian has just won the 2026 Fields Medal, the mathematical equivalent of the Nobel Prize. University of Toronto math professor Dr. Jacob Zimmerman, the first scholar at a Canadian institution and the second Canadian to receive the award.
This is the most prestigious achievement for every mathematician, but I'm really proud that I'm his student and I get to work with him for the past 5 years.
The Fields Medal is awarded every 4 years to up to 4 mathematicians under the age of 40. Zimmerman, a U of T and Princeton alumnus, honored in part for helping prove the Andre Oort conjecture, a problem that had stumped mathematicians for decades.
In a nutshell, it's saying this. Let's say you have a space. If this space contains many special points, then the ambient space that you're living in should be special.
I studied the application of omnimality to algebraic geometry.
In this promotional video, Zimmerman describes his passion for his work and the way his mind operates.
Most of my work is entirely in my head. There's no experiment, there's no lab, there's just ideas. It's just you and the problem.
Zimmerman was a math prodigy, winning 2 gold medals at the International Mathematical Olympiad in high school, beginning his BA at just 16 and completing it within 2 years. 5 years later, he'd earned his PhD from Princeton. Today, the U of T professor says mathematics is ultimately about solving puzzles.
There's this permanent feeling of being stuck when you're doing math. You're constantly trying to get from A to B. There's nothing really around to help you except for other people who maybe have other good ideas.
A sentiment echoed by colleagues back at the University of Toronto who cheered his achievement on from afar.
It is a very community-driven activity, and so when one of us succeeds, it's like, in a way, it's a kind of inspirational success to the whole community.
The Fields Medal is named after the late John Charles Fields, a celebrated Canadian mathematician who also attended and taught at U of T. It was established in 1932 to recognize young mathematicians who have made outstanding contributions to the field. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Wow, congratulations. An Ontario fly fishing shop owner is being recognized for his contribution to the pastime. He launched his own rod company 3 years ago and recently became the first Canadian featured in a prestigious fly fishing publication. CTV's Karis Mapp has more.
When he's not working at his Fergus fly fishing shop, Scott Hall can often be found casting along the Grand River. Hall and his wife Tanya have owned and operated Grand River Outfitting for more than a decade now.
Basically, in the last 12 years that we've had our company, Grand River Outfitting, we have carried everybody else's rods, and mostly all of those rods are usually American owned. And I thought, you know what, why isn't there a Canadian fly rod company doing this?
3 years ago, he launched his own line of affordable rods, raising the bar and the blank.
It's not just a basic rod. It has 24-ton carbon graphite. It has graphene in it. It's a very special rod. So those price points, you're getting a quality rod for the price.
In a world that is dominated in North America and worldwide by some very iconic brands, a lot of US-based and fantastic brands that we sell here, I thought it was really unique to offer a product that's been tested, developed here on our home waters.
It was the surprise of a lifetime when Fly Fusion magazine contacted Hall inquiring about the rods.
I've always been a big fan of Fly Fusion. It was a magazine that I got a subscription to years and years ago.
Only a handful of companies get featured each year in the magazine's Ultimate Rod Review.
We'll actually take each rod and put it through the ringer and then take it out on the water and bend it, sometimes break them. And when we break them, we don't review those.
But Hall's rods had them hooked.
I was excited about the look and feel and the experience I had on the water with it. This one just felt right. It just felt good in my hands. It cast really well.
I'm absolutely shocked, yeah, and humbled, really, because if you look in there, you have all the big names, Winston, Sage, Redington, Orvis, and you have little Hall Rod Company.
This is the rod right here that got the feature in Fly Fusion. It's one of many by Hall Rod Company that are all designed and engineered right here in Canada. While the magazine's roots are in Canada, it reels in readers from around the world. And Hall Rods was the first Canadian company to get the recognition. Kara Smap, CTV News, Fergus.
How some of Canada's brightest comedy stars got their start will be the story of an upcoming documentary. David Daniel has that and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
You've been selected for a mission of the utmost importance. What mission? Save the world.
The Fifth Element is returning to theaters. The cult favorite sci-fi flick starring Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich is back for 3 nights only, July 26th, 27th, and 29th. More info at fathomentertainment.com. A new lease on life for a Hollywood icon. Sony Pictures Entertainment says it'll restore and renovate the Cinerama Dome. The plan is to reopen the much-loved movie theater in early 2028, when it'll be operated by Alamo Drafthouse. The Dome closed in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic.
How can a documentary film ever hope to capture the spirit of the 1972 Toronto Godspell?
Dumb idea. You know, here's hoping.
Here's your first look at You Had to Be There, how the Toronto Godspell ignited the comedy revolution. That production sparked the careers of Martin Short, Eugene Levy, Gilda Radner, Andrea Martin, Paul Schaefer, Victor Garber, and more, and proved a pivotal point in comedy history. The documentary opens in New York September 18th and across the U.S. September 25th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Oil prices shot up today with another twist in the supply route coming out of the Middle East. BNN Bloomberg's Marina Fernandez has more.
Houthi militants say they attacked 2 Saudi tankers in the Red Sea. The Red Sea shipping route was Saudi Arabia's detour, with the Strait of Hormuz paralyzed. The Houthis are backed by Iran and operate out of Yemen. The changing conflict sent the price of West Texas Intermediate crude above $93 U.S. today, and Brent crude over $102 U.S. a barrel. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to $72.92 U.S. West Texas Intermediate is up over $5 to end the day to $92.19 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select also up to $69.08, and the TSX lost 292 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marina Fernandez.
And here's a look at the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $73.48, closing the day at $40.49.29 U.S. an ounce. Silver down $1.94. And copper down 6 cents. Nickel up 12 cents, ending the day at $7.76 U.S. a pound. All right, let's head back over to Amanda now for one last look at the weather for Friday.
Well, Marina, for Friday, we'll be trading sweaters for sunglasses. Let's take a look. Sudbury, we'll be sitting at 26, mix of sun and cloud, feeling like 30 with the humidex. Chance of showers in Timmins, 27 in Sault Ste. Marie. Beautiful day. Feeling like 30 degrees with the humidex. In North Bay, feeling like 29 with a mix of sun and cloud. Beautiful sunny skies in Parry Sound, high of 26. And Temiskaming Shores, just a slight chance of showers. So a beautiful Friday to start the weekend. Marina.
Yes, there's that heat for those who enjoy it. Finally for us tonight, a musical duo in St. John's is still pinching themselves after a brush with fame at a hotel bar. CTV's Garrett Berry describes the scene in a small bar before one of music's biggest names took the stage.
It was this singing voice that inspired one of the music industry's biggest stars at a gig in St. John's.
She runs up to the front of the stage and she was like, "Can I sing with you?" And I was like, "Sure," still not clicking in who it was.
Who it was, pop music singer Kesha. Just an hour or so before she took the stage at a music festival, she joined local artists, Julia Dawson and Bruce Smith, for a song at a local bar.
Once she came on stage, you know, she had the vibe going, she was dancing, and it just felt incredibly natural.
She was harmonizing and singing, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Kesha next to me, like 2 feet from my face."
A pinch me moment for the young duo, who are working to build a music career at home in Newfoundland and Labrador. Kesha even posted online about her drop-in performance, writing on Twitter, "Incredible voice, I was stunned." Maybe this moment in the spotlight could build into a crescendo and push the duo to bigger music careers.
I hope that it brings more recognition to the work that we're doing, and that, you know, more people will come check out our work as the duo and what we do as soloists as well.
The dream would be to go on tour and show people my music and, you know, do the thing, be the person, you know, that everyone wants to see.
Either way, it will always be an incredible story and a point of pride.
Like the ultimate like mom lore drop. It should just be like, when I have kids and stuff someday, I'm just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, one time I performed with Kesha."
Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Wow, good reminder for performers to always perform to your very best. You never know who is in the audience. That's all the time we have here on CTV News at 6. Tune in at 11:30 as Ian Campbell will be in with your late local news. Thanks for watching. Good.